Evening, everybody. Welcome to the meeting of the Audit and Standards Committee. We have Councillor Brocky, who's sent in apologies, and Councillor Rees is covering for her, and Councillor Stubbs is also away, I believe. He's ill. Oh, COVID, oh dear. Do we have any other apologies? No. Okay. Thank you. Item number 2 then is, do we have anybody who needs to make any declarations of interest in relation to the business that we'll be discussing tonight? No? Okay, thank you. Item number 3 then is the minutes of the previous meeting. I think we were all here for the last meeting. Does everybody agree with the content of the minutes and happy to approve them? Yeah. Okay, great. Item number 4 then is the corporate risk management report, and Steve and Sarah are both going to give us some input to that. So when you're ready, please go ahead.
Thank you, Chair. So this is the corporate risk management report for Q2 of 24-25. There have been 3 risk levels that have increased during the last quarter. There is a new risk which has been put on the corporate risk register. So if I just highlight what those are for you. So the 3 risk levels that have been increased, 2 of them relate to environmental health. The first one being failure to deliver statutory duties in relation to nuisance investigations. And the second one is failure to ensure safe drinking water at private water supplies. That second one, that relates to around about 46 properties within the borough that don't have mains water. So they will have their water from either a well, a spring or a borehole. And it's the testing of that water is actually safe to drink for those 46 properties. And then the third risk is in relation to the shared service hub within Kidsgrove Town Deal and the delivery of the shared service hub. The new risk included in the corporate risk register relates to community cohesion. And this is around potential breakdown of community cohesion leading to public disorder. And this has been put on the risk register following the Southport knife attack in the summer. So they're basically the changes on the corporate risk register that happened in the last quarter. I'm happy to take any questions on any of that. Thank you.
Thank you, Sarah. Steve, have you got anything to add to that at this stage? I don't think you have you? No. Phil, do you want to?
Just on the new risk on the communication, is that a response to kind of intelligence of the risk, you know, the potential for something to happen, or is it just based on what's happened generally? Yeah,
so it's just based on what has happened over the summer, really, and that awareness that although we haven't had any problems in our area, it is a risk that is out there, and we need to just put that on the register and be aware of that.
Thanks.
Yeah, it's a good question, Phil. I think if we didn't put on the risk register, I think we'd be lapsed because what's happened. But there's no intelligence or anything like this. No, none at all. Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully everything's calmed down again now. We were just talking about this a few minutes ago, saying that we hope they got it on the risk register in the USA, because I think the potential for something to flare up there is much greater. Okay, do we have any other questions on this report?
Sorry.
Yeah.
Just a bit further on. It was just clarification, really. I think 8.1 and 9. 8.1 says there's no resource implications in respect to the management and reporting of risk. But when we get to 9.1 and 9.2, major risk and mitigation, yeah, I was just a bit confused by those 2 statements. So we've got limited resource to ensure timely compliance with the processes within the RMS. So that leaves the council unable to appropriately identify and manage the significant wider risks. I'm just a bit confused by if we've got all the risks on the risk register, why is there kind of concern that we're not identifying some potential risks?
So if we go to the financial section first and the 8.1, so out of the risks that we actually put on the corporate risk register, there's been nothing new that's kind of alluded us to a financial impact at all. So all of the risks actually on the corporate risk register are considered for any legal implications, any financial impact. There's been nothing that's been changed that will make us actually need to spend any extra money anywhere to mitigate those risks. So that's the 8.1 bit.
Okay.
I think the section 9, the major risks and mitigation, this is just the risk part of the report to say that we identify that actually, you can't kind of monitor corporate risks minute by minute every single day all the time. So there's a risk there that obviously we are talking about this today, but next week something might happen in between the reporting times, and which we will report back obviously at the next meeting. So it's just that time lapse. I think it's just sort of saying,
I see.
It's a snapshot really.
Yeah.
Of where we are at the end of quarter two.
Thanks for that.
Just on that, the other mitigation is that the major risks are reviewed over a shorter period than the lesser risks. So, you can't be constantly reviewing something, but on the other hand, we do have things in place to ensure that they are done on a timely basis.
All that I would say about the risks is it's when you identify them and dealing with them, they are a moment in time. And at that moment in time, there are more that crop up that need every 2, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, something like that, observation to make sure nothing's changed, where others can be medium risk for quite a length of time before they need attention, as I always understood it.
Yeah.
If I could just add to that, we have a corporate leadership team meeting over the corporate risks every month, once a month. But in between those monthly meetings, service directors, business managers are updating the risk register with our risk team, on a weekly basis. So it's constantly, if something changes, they're straight in to the actual risk register and they're updating it live. Whereas obviously we report on a quarterly basis, so it is it's council ruled as a snapshot in time.
Yeah.
Just a quickie, can I just say I really enjoy the traffic lights risk register evaluations because it makes it so much clearer for lay people to understand. And the reports are always thorough, Sarah, so thank you.
Do we have any other questions? No. Has anybody got anything that they would like to look at in more detail in relation to the risk profiles for the next meeting? If not, it is something that people can advise us of before the meeting if they wish to. So if there is anything that you want to look at, then please let us know. In that case then, can we agree then that we'll note items 1 to 5 and we can move on? Thanks. Item number 5 then is the internal audit update, and Alex has come from Stafford to give us an update on where they stand with that at the moment. Thank you, Alex.
Thank you, Chair. I'd like to present to the committee the second progress report from internal audit. Since our last progress report, the fieldwork for 4 audits have been completed and draft reports will be issued as soon as possible. In addition, 4 further audits are now in preparation. The status for each audit can be seen at section 2.3 of the report, and this shows that there are 7 audits that are now in preparation, 2 are ongoing, and 4 are awaiting reports, as just mentioned. Moving on to section 2.5, there was one other fraud referral received during the period. Again, this is relating to benefits that don't require, or the contents don't require reporting to this committee at this stage. We continue to liaise with this customer hub to triage and investigate, and also report to external agencies like the DWP where required. In section 2.8 and 2.9, there's a small update on the National Fraud Initiative. So the National Fraud Initiative is a data matching exercise that occurs every 2 years. The council uploads a number of data sets such as payroll and creditors, and these are matched against data sets from other government agencies and authorities to identify fraud and error. Once these data sets have been uploaded and the results received, which we expect at the moment to be in December, our fraud internal audit manager will work with the council to identify some effective strategies for reviewing those matches. Audit recommendations are discussed in sections 2.11 to 2.14 of the report. The outstanding recommendations made by the previous internal auditors have now been reviewed by the Service Director for Finance, and we are now responsible for the tracking and reporting of those recommendations, for which there are 31 of those. So following that review, there are 12 recommendations that are outstanding. However, none of those are overdue at the moment, and there are no outstanding high priority recommendations. I plan to report any overdue recommendations in full to future committees where they become overdue. And that concludes the summary for our second internal audit progress report. So I'm happy to take any questions if there are any.
Alex, just briefly, on this National Fraud Initiative, when they compare the databases, are they looking for people who are being paid by 2 different councils or something like that? Or, I'm not entirely sure what they're looking for on that.
There's multiple tests that they do, but yes, I think that's one of them. They'll compare payroll from one council to payroll of another council, see if there's same employee being paid from 2 different places.
Does anybody have any questions on this report?
Just make a comment.
Yeah, sure.
No, I think it's going really well, Alex. I think you've taken over from Stoke, and it's been a seamless sort of transition. And thank you very much for your work.
Okay.
Thank you for that.
Thanks, Alex. So can we agree to note this report as well, please? Yep. Okay. Item number 6 then is the Treasury Management half-yearly report. And just going back to what's been said on some of the previous meetings where people have discussed the complexity of the wording and so on, you'd be pleased to note that the first part of the appendix has actually been quite heavily modified so that it's in much more simple language as far as the layman is concerned. And I can confirm that it does work because I read it earlier and I actually said to Sarah, has somebody changed this and made it easy? Because I've read it and it seems really easy to understand. So, we are listening, and I think the officers have done a good job of doing that because it does make it more simple. And I was thinking, well, I don't really see how we could simplify that much more now. So thanks to Sarah and the officers, and please go ahead, Sarah.
Thank you. So the Council Treasury Management's half-yearly report is actually based on the Treasury Management Strategy for 24-25, was approved at full council on the 14th of February. The council strategy concerning its investments continues to be a priority, the security of the council's capital and to ensure liquidity. The half-yearly report to members is intended to provide an update on the Treasury Management Strategy and performance for this period, April to September of this financial year. Investments held at the 30th of September amounted to 11.9 million. The vast majority of this was held within the government debt management account. That was 9.25 million of that. The smaller amount was held in the public sector deposit fund, £2 million, and the Lloyds Bank current account of £650,000. The average yield that we've actually been able to secure on the money held within the bank during this first half of the year has been 4.94%. That's actually earned the council £507,000 as at the end of the second quarter. The council's current strategy is to maintain borrowing and investment below their underlying levels. Sometimes this is known as internal borrowing in order to reduce any of the risk and to keep interest costs as low as we can. We haven't got any external borrowings at present. We are looking to borrow by the end of this financial year in respect of the regeneration projects that we've been discussing. So no borrowings at present, but we'll be doing in the future. Happy to take any questions on that report. Thank you.
Thank you, Sarah. Do we have any questions on the report? No? Okay, can we receive this report then and move on? Thank you, Sarah. So item number 7 then is the work programme. At the back on page 55 to 58, we've got the work programme, most of which is already complete, but the first part of it on page 56 does detail this meeting and the next one. Has anybody got any comments or questions on that? Go on, Sarah.
Yeah, so just in respect of the external audit of our statements of accounts, I was hoping that we'd be able to bring them back to this meeting for official kind of sign off. I know the last meeting KPMG came and delivered their audit findings. There was just a couple of issues that they're still working on, which are not any fault of this council's. It's to do with pensions and how we report pensions in our accounts. So last meeting, delegated authority was given to myself and the chair to sign off the accounts once they've been finalised. Then we'll bring them back to the February meeting. So I'll adjust the work programme to say that hopefully, we'll bring these back signed and for completeness really at the February Audit Standards Committee. That's okay.
Thank you, Sarah. Do we have any other questions or queries? No? Okay, thank you. Finally then, urgent business. I've not been notified of any urgent business. So thank you all for attending and we'll close the meeting. Thank you.